parents brought me groceries because they're the best and I needed groceries really bad, so they went shopping for me. I have the best parents in the entire world, seriously. Hey guys, so it is June 29th and yes, I'm still pregnant. So I surpassed the due date that my mom and I figured out, but today is my actual due date that my midwives gave to me, and I haven't had her yet. I have my midwife appointment in about half an hour here, so I'm gonna leave shortly for that. And I'm gonna get another membrane sweep or stretch and sweep or whatever you want to call it, and I'm hoping that will put me into labor. It worked for my hairdresser. She said that when she was 40 weeks she had hers swept and she went into labor that night, because it does work if you're already dilating and your cervix is already soft. And last week I was 1 centimeter dilated and my cervix was quite soft, and this morning I thought I was in labor, like legit, because I had quite a bit of like actual period type pain, but it was more intense than it had been. It was a lot sharper, and it wasn't like diarrhea or anything because I didn't go and I didn't have to go. But it started up and I was like, okay, this is more intense than anything I've had before. It lasted for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. They were about 8 to 10 minutes apart, and then I fell asleep and I woke up and they were gone. But right now I just have tightening and like light cramping. So I don't know, we'll see. So I'm hoping I'm more dilated, and that the fact that I'm maybe more dilated then this stretch and sweep will do something, because I want this baby here because I want to see her so bad. So I'm excited for my appointment. I apologize, I was gonna upload a video or film yesterday, but yesterday was probably the worst day I've had in a long time. The night before yesterday I was up literally all night, like till 4 a.m. I was awake. I was so tired, but I had insomnia, I couldn't sleep. I had horrible acid reflux, and I still have acid reflux and heartburn because she has dropped, but she's still a big baby, and I still have pressure up here as well as down there. So I had horrible acid reflux. I was soaking wet, just sweating, even though it was cool in the house. My husband has allergies, so he was snoring, so I was literally wide awake till 4 a.m. 4 a.m. I finally fell asleep, and then I just slept till like 2:30. Felt like I just worked a night shift. I got up at like 2:30 and I just went to my parents' house to take the dog out and get some fresh air, and I came home and I was just so exhausted and miserable. The last thing I wanted to do was film, so I apologize that I didn't get anything up. Hopefully this is my last vlog that you see before the baby gets here. But yeah, just been really crampy today, and I've just been exhausted. Like, I've had bouts here and there of wanting to clean things up, but for the most part I'm exhausted. I have no sheets on the bed because I'm gonna wash them, and my parents, you guys saw, they brought me groceries, so everybody's been texting me and they're like, oh my god, like, are you in labor yet? I'm like, no, not yet. So we'll see, but my stomach is so tight, so hopefully I think she's coming today. Like, I would put money on her coming today after my stretch and sweep, but we'll see. And I did I'm gonna see what my midwife says, but I think I changed my mind on the whole induction thing, just because originally I was just going by what my midwife said. I didn't really look into it or do any other research, and I'm the type of person that before I make a big decision, I want to hear both sides and make an informed decision on, like, read a few articles, not just one article, and like read ones from midwives and OBs and from Canada, from the States. Like, I like to kind of really inform myself and then make a decision based on what I feel in my mind is the most logical and makes sense and is best for me. So I feel there's a lot of things I didn't know. Like I didn't know that after 41 weeks, they say technically there's nothing, after 41 weeks, there's nothing benefiting you being pregnant to the baby or you. I didn't realize that the baby could have their first poop after 40 weeks, and then obviously that's not good if they have their first poop when they're inside you, and that can cause a cesarean. She's obviously a big baby, and if she goes past 41 weeks she could be huge, and then I might not be able to push her out, so I might need a C-section. And I don't know, for me, I just think if I don't have her by 41 weeks, then I will be induced at 41 weeks. I did change my mind on that, and that's just what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to tell my midwife that today, so maybe we can book something, but hopefully she'll come on her own. So we'll see. We shall see. I think she's going to be June 30th. Like, I feel like I'm going to go into labor tonight, and she's either coming before midnight, or she is coming early, like on the 30th. That's what I think, but we'll see. So anyways, I'm gonna get going. I'll let you guys know how my appointment was, and yeah, we'll talk after. Hey guys, sorry if I'm out of breath. I just carried the laundry back there upstairs, and if I look worn out, it's because I am completely worn out. So I'm feeling very discouraged at this point because I came back from my midwife appointment, and she did the stretch and sweep. Now, when she did it last time, I was 1 centimeter dilated and my cervix was soft, but she could only get like the tip of my cervix. Well, this time she did it, I'm still only 1 centimeter because she could only get one finger in there, but she could get it all the way up to the end of my cervix, and she said she could just barely reach baby girl's head, but like just. And so the frustrating part is that I'm still only 1 centimeter, and the other two frustrating things. Number one, I was frustrated because the last appointment, and even the appointment before that, the one midwife said that baby was engaged in my pelvis, and she was now flipped on her side. Well, now because I have 3, so every time I go I get either number 1, 2, or 3. So this time it was a different girl that I've had before, but anyways, she said nope, she's not fully engaged in your pelvis because I can move her head. So she's like down low, but she's not engaged. So I thought she was engaged already, and now she's not. And she is sunny side up again. So her back is to my back and her face is facing forward, which is very frustrating because I have been sitting forward, I've been bouncing on my ball, I've been rolling, I've been doing like exercises on my ball to get her to flip, and I thought that it had worked, and I continued to do it, and it doesn't seem to be doing anything. So I'm a little frustrated because now obviously labor can flip her, and a lot of times she said, you know, labor will push her. However, she said you're 40 weeks pregnant and she hasn't moved yet, so she said in the event that she doesn't flip before I go into labor, I am at a higher risk for a C-section, and I could have a longer, more difficult labor because obviously labor has to not only try and get her out, but put her in the right position, which can put more stress on the whole process and make it longer. And I could have more back labor, and I'm at a higher risk of a C-section. So that was kind of frustrating to say the least, especially because here I was thinking she flipped and she was engaged in my pelvis, only to find out that no, she's not engaged in your pelvis and she has not flipped. So I was just very discouraged about that because I thought that I would go into labor like tonight or this weekend, and I guess I very well still can, but now I don't feel like that's going to happen. I think that I probably will be induced next Thursday. So I did book an induction date for next Thursday at the hospital that I would deliver in anyways. And it's with a well-known OB who I've heard amazing things about, and even my midwife said he's fantastic. Like, he's a really good OB. So worst case, I will be induced Thursday, July 6th. Probably they said mostly they do it by like 9 o'clock in the morning. I have to call that morning at like 7:30 and they'll let me know when I can come on in. And like the midwives will still be there to receive the baby, but they won't be the ones doing the induction or delivering my baby. They'll just receive the baby after the OB has delivered her. So, so that's that. And she kind of said, you know, I just want you to be aware that, like, in my midwife's opinion, she said, I want you to be aware that you are at a greater risk of a C-section if you are induced. Which I have heard yes and no from both sides. I have one of my best friends, and she was in my wedding. She's a labor and delivery nurse, and she doesn't agree with that at all. She actually says that you have a higher chance of a C-section if you go past 41 weeks. So everyone has a different opinion, but my thinking was the fact that my midwife said I'm already at a higher risk of a C-section because of the way she's positioned. She's not in a good position for labor. And she said labor may not flip her. It might, but it might not. Then I would rather be induced at 41 weeks and potentially, if in my midwife's opinion, have a higher chance of a C-section than to go to 42 weeks, go and get the ultrasounds to make sure I have enough amniotic fluid, to make sure the baby's okay, to make sure she hasn't pooped, like all that stuff, only to find out that I need a C-section anyways, and I could have had her earlier and not had more complications, because I do think that having a baby in your belly up to 42 weeks, it is more problems. I mean, if it wasn't, they wouldn't have ultrasounds to check everything. And I know the ultrasounds are like a precaution to make sure that everything's fine. But to me, it's like, well, if it's supposed to be fine, why do you need to do you know what I mean? So anyways, so I don't know, I was hoping I'd go into labor tonight or at least this weekend, but I don't know, something in the back of my mind is just telling me that I'm probably just gonna need to be induced, so we'll see. I had a little cry when I got home just because, like, it's just very emotional, because you're like, you're so done with being pregnant. Like, I cannot, for a couple reasons. Like, obviously, one, I cannot sleep at night at all. Like, I am up literally all night. My stomach is itchy. You go through, it's very emotional because you go through like, oh, I'm having contractions, like she's coming, and then an hour later, whatever, they stop. And like, so that aspect is very emotional. You have no energy, you're uncomfortable. And it's also like, you just want to meet your baby. You just want her to be here. Like, I just want to meet her, and it is just very emotional going through is she coming? Is she not coming? Is she coming? Is she not coming? And everybody keeps calling me like all day and asking, are you in labor? Are you in labor? Are you in labor? Which I love, because it's very nice to know that people care. But it's frustrating to be like, no, not yet. No, not yet. No, not yet. And it's very emotional. And it was very emotional, you know, to hear that I might have to have a C-section and I could have more of a difficult time. And not that I'm not concerned about the pain or anything like that. I know I can do it. It's gonna suck, but I know I can do it. It's more, I just don't want anything to be more difficult for her. I just want an easy delivery so that she's healthy. But if I have to have a C-section to healthfully get her out, I will do that. I'll do whatever I have to. I just want her to be healthy. That's all I care about. So I had my little cry and yeah, so that's kind of the only update I have for right now. I don't know if I'm going to film anymore today just because I'm exhausted. It's already like 3 o'clock. I just have to fold that laundry there, and then I have to make the bed. And I cleaned up the dishes. I put all my dishes away. My stomach is so freaking itchy. It's not even funny. I keep putting cream on, but it's not doing anything. So yeah, I'm just really frustrated at this point, but it is what it is. So hopefully the next time I see you guys, I'll have a baby, but I think I'm gonna be induced. So we'll see. Anyways, yeah, I will talk to you guys later, or I might end the vlog here. I'm not too sure, but I might talk to you later. Love you.